Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't
Yay! Good day, everyone, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 27. Oh my goodness, just a few more days and it's New Year, right? So, this has been a year, like the past couple of years, has been very difficult for most of us. We weren't able to actually meet face to face or even celebrate the New Year or even Christmas, okay, like the way we used to, right? So now I think we are going to be able to do that. And what a nice way to actually do it, by giving out, interactive cards to our friends and family for the coming new year. And of course, we have a guest who will show us how to actually do that. Yes, my guest today is not new to the show because we have had her before and we are so glad to have her back again. So, Amy Ulen actually is a lifelong learner and creative teacher. So during her day job, she is a teacher on special assignment because she helps to integrate computer science in kindergarten through 12th grade. And during her 32-year career, she has actually taught courses as varied as Shakespeare, science fiction, acting, video production, web design, computer science, and video game design. It's like from the left to the right side of education, right? She can do anything, but she said the common thing throughout, creativity. So in 2020, she launched the Creativity Playground. This helps adults focus on their mental well being by engaging in creative play. So, spending time in creative pursuits is as important to our mental health as eating right, getting enough sleep, and exercising are to our physical health. Amy looks forward to getting creative with all of us today. All right, so without further ado, let's bring back on the show Amy Ulen. Hello, Amy.
Hello. Thank you so much for that great introduction and for having me back on the show.
Yes, and I like the new hair.
Oh,
I
thank you.
absolutely love. And now I think
Okay,
I want to have a bangs also. It's
this is
nice.
okay. I have to tell you, I did this today just for you.
Oh my
Still
goodness, thank you.
feeling a little
Absolutely,
sassy.
absolutely
And
looking
my
absolutely great.
hairdresser is actually from the Philippines. So there you
Oh,
go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hello there. What a great way to actually start the show. Thank you so much again, Amy.
Yeah.
Our belated Merry Christmas and advance Happy New Year to you. All right, so let's start. Okay, so we know that you, like what we've read in the intro, right? So you are into like from the arts, English literature down to computer science and web design. So as you said, the thing that somehow is similar to all of them is it involves creativity. All right.
Mhm.
So Amy,
Absolutely.
why is being creative or having a creative out or creativity outlet important?
It really is so important to everyone, regardless of, you and I, we share, and many of your followers here share
Mhm.
a love of paper arts. But creativity can take, and creative play can take many forms. It can be everything from video game design to gardening to drawing or writing, whatever it is, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. But as adults, we tend to get so caught up in our work and our families, and we quit taking time for ourselves to engage in creative play. And it ends up causing a lot of mental health issues that, if left unchecked, can negatively impact many aspects of our lives. So I encourage all adults that no matter what you're into, make time, because you're not going to, like, it's not going to just miraculously appear. We have to make the time to engage in creative play so that we can nourish our spirit, our brain, our
Mhm.
creativity, and that helps our overall well-being.
Yeah, it reminds me, Amy, right? So when we were growing up, right, when we were kids, we were always taught to do creative play, right? Kids,
Yeah.
they need to do creative play. So why is it that when we became adults that we actually stopped doing that and focused on, as they say, adulting, just work, 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 and do all of the many roles
Mhm.
that we have? That, as you said, in the end, we actually suffer from mental health, which we actually don't even often know about, that what we were feeling. Maybe you're very lethargic, you're not very productive. Maybe it's because of you are starting to have mental issues. So what Amy is saying is very, very important, that we actually also need to be creative, and creativity will give us that you know being able, that desire, or that what do you call this situation where we can even be mentally okay. So it's not just about the
Mhm.
physical, right? So the emotional,
Right.
it's also the mental health. All right,
Yeah.
so Amy, let's
Well,
say
and
hi to,
people,
yes,
oh, sorry,
yes,
go ahead.
yes,
Let's say
go ahead,
hi.
Amy. Oh, okay.
Well, I was just going to say that, in the paper crafting industry, a lot of people will say that, this is cheaper than therapy. And there's some truth to that. Now, clearly, therapy is very important as well, and we can't simply play our way out of a true
Mhm.
mental health crisis.
Issue.
But if we're nurturing ourselves in that way before we hit a crisis, then we're going to better be able to reach out and ask for help,
Mhm.
which a lot of people have a tough time doing. And
Mhm.
when you're in a community like we are with our crafty friends, um, those are going to be some of the first people that we reach out to. So, whatever your creative play is, find a community, because
Mhm.
that support is going to be so helpful.
That
So,
is so
speaking of
nice,
community, who's
Amy.
here?
Yes, that's so nice, Amy, right? Preventive rather than corrective. And if there is
Mhm.
really something that is an issue, then of course our, medical practitioners can actually even help us as well. But as Amy said, okay, why not do this first before we reach that part, right? Okay, so let's say hi to everybody in the chat for now. Amy, and of course, we have Tina One Kenobi who had a mini
Thank
concert for
you.
everybody called Harana. Harana in English is like a serenade, right? So she's a
Aw.
crafty sister of ours. She joins me during my crafty nights, Amy, and she did this serenade for everybody as a thank you for supporting her for the past year. So, hi Tina. And Tina said new hair. Yes, Tina, did you
Yeah.
hear what Amy said? All right, about the hair. It actually really is very nice. And Miss Mary saying hi, hello to everybody as well. And yes, I remember the interactive card she taught us last year, and I made one too. Yes, yes, we actually
Yay.
did. After Amy jumped in onto the show, we did it as well. She's the Star Trek geek. All right, guys, if
Yep.
you don't know yet, okay, maybe just a little bit, Amy. How is it that you are somehow, related to, or somehow, a Star Trek, okay, geek, just like Tina and I?
Yes, yes.
There you go.
So I was actually on an episode of Star Trek Enterprise and
Wow.
in the fan film Star Trek of Gods and Men. So oh, and my latest news, it's not official yet,
Mm-hmm.
but the Nichelle Nichols Foundation was recently launched at nichellenichols.foundation.
Uh-huh.
And I have been asked to be on their advisory board.
Wow!
Yeah. So
Congratulations,
here's my little.
Amy! Wow, I love that. Woohoo, go boldly. What an inspiration. That's a beautiful card, Amy, and you color it very, very nicely. All right,
Thank
so
you.
Tina said your new hairdo frames your face
Oh, thank you.
beautifully, Amy. Indeed. All right, and good morning, KM. Good morning, everyone. Miss Lala, Miss Amy, Miss Tina, and Miss Mary.
Hello.
And we have Ken. Ken, I think, is from the community of Christmas Clatter, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, hello. Ayan, yes. And he loves the topic. Thank you for coming in, Ken. Creativity is nourishment to our mental well-being. Yes, that's what Amy has said. And thank you so much for typing that in, Tina. Crafting is cheaper than therapy. Absolutely. And Edward Castrillo, mega love shout out. Thank you so much for dropping by po. Yeah, she was in an episode of Star Trek. Woohoo! Not just one, two. Right? Okay. Wow, Amy, congratulations. All right.
Thank
So
you.
yes, okay. So after having done, so many of, okay. So as you said, the crafting that most of my community members do is just one of the many ways that you can actually do be creative, or do a form of creativity play. And Amy actually, although she is involved in many other forms, right? So computer design, I mean, is that correct? Computer
Mhm.
science, web design,
Yeah.
excuse me, sorry. And then also literature, right? Poems,
Mhm.
Shakespeare. Okay, but there is one thing that somehow resonates most with our community, and that's paper crafting, Amy. So can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit more about how you started actually in paper crafting?
Oh, it was so long ago. I started when I was a kid, back when, we call it scrapbooking. Those were back in the days when that's literally what you did. You'd gather scraps from your life. We didn't have a lot of photographs because, you would get one roll of either 12 exposure or 24 exposure, and you'd
Mm-mm.
maybe take a couple pictures each month. And so then eventually you have to remember to get these uh, what they call it back then when they printed the photos. Um, but so I wasn't using a lot of photos back then. I
Mm-hmm.
was
Memory
using the
keeping.
playbills from the different plays that I was in, or the activities that I did at schools, the certificates. And so that was my early entry into scrapbooking. And then, oh gosh, had to have been, 25, 30 years ago now
Yes.
that a friend of mine went to a Creative Memories party, and she bought a bunch of stuff and she brought it over to my house. And I was like, whoa, this is so awesome. So that was then, I have some albums where we used to like cut our pictures out with decorative scissors. And so
I
I
know.
have all
I remember those days
of
as
those.
well. Right? So you started out in a scrapbook in like scrapbooking. So
Yeah,
the same with me. Okay, so it was really scrapbooking way back when, right? But eventually
right.
you transitioned into card making, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when did this happen?
So really this happened, well, the start of it happened in 2014. So in
Mhm.
2014, I went through a pretty serious depression that lasted for 3 years. And during that time, I changed, like I completely changed. And the things that used to be really important to me, like taking photos and documenting every little bit of my life, like
Mhm.
that just stopped.
Mhm.
And so during that time, I was Close to My Heart consultant, which is a paper crafting company. And I kept saying, I want to quit. I want to quit. And both my friends and my husband were like, no, this brings you joy. Don't
Mhm.
quit. So I didn't quit. And I'm very thankful that I didn't. Eventually, I did in
Mhm.
20, at the end of 2020, I did.
Mhm.
But it was for the right reasons, not
Mhm.
what it would have been had I quit during that time that I was in depression.
Mhm.
Um, but because I didn't want to scrapbook at that time, then I moved into making cards. And making cards like was not only before, I didn't think I was any good at making cards. And what I found is that I love it. The tiny little canvas is just so wonderful. You can easily complete, at
Mhm.
least one card in a half hour. Oops. um, so it's just more uh, time saving as far as
Mhm.
being creative in a timely fashion.
Mhm.
And the absolute best part of it is that after I pour my creativity and love into this card, I get to send it to someone. So not only am I getting that enjoyment, but then
Mhm.
I am spreading that love to other people. And that is like the greatest feeling of all, is knowing
All
that
right.
somebody else is going to get my
Exactly.
paper hug.
All right, absolutely. Paper hugs back to you. All right, so Amy, so how that's one thing, right? That card making is fast and it can
Mhm.
give even joy to those who would receive it. So you actually have intentionally created a group, right? Where you actually and then there was Mail It Mondays before. Is it
Mhm.
still continuing on?
Okay, so here's, if anyone that goes to my Facebook page will
Uh-huh.
see that my last Mail It Monday was in August, because I started my new job in end of August, early September,
Mm-mm.
and it has been way more work than, and just much busier than I was
Mm-mm.
expecting it to be. So I kind of have fallen off the Mail It Mondays, but I am determined in the new year to get back into Mail It Monday. And for
Yay!
those of you that haven't seen it, it's just I take a little walk up to my mailbox on Mondays after work and send some cards and just have a little chit chat. So it's really short a lot of times because it's so short, 5 to 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You might miss it because they're not scheduled. And But I invite you to watch them on the replay because it's just
Yes.
a
It's really
little
nice.
way
I
to.
love watching you go from your house to the mailbox, right? So, because here it's a different way how we mail stuff, but in the way you do it, it's very fun. Like you walk a few meters away from your house, and then you talk to us about what's the weather, and then what's where the cards are going to, right? So for us also, Amy, this is a great inspiration that I think we should also start doing, guys. Most of the time in our crafty nights we do create cards as well, and most of
Mhm.
the time, so where do these cards end up, right?
Yeah.
So we it's just piling up in our craft spaces. So why not send them over to people? They may not even be friends, maybe like before, during the pandemic, we had card drives, so something similar. We don't need to
Mhm.
be in the pandemic to be able to try and send cards to people, maybe for children in the hospital or in hospital care or something like that, or even friends and family, right? So Amy, can you tell us more about, so that Mail It Monday is very inspiring, guys. So there is still, okay, so where do they go on Facebook, Amy? Is this the group Creativity Playground Clubhouse, or is it a
Uh,
different one?
it's actually just my Creativity Playground Facebook page. So that's the group. But I think if you just go to Facebook and put in Creativity Playground, that the actual page will show
Okay.
up.
Okay, so what's
Yeah.
the Creativity Playground Clubhouse now?
Well, the clubhouse is, and I have to admit, I have not really like gotten this off the ground yet, but
Uh-huh.
here's the idea behind Clubhouse
Okay.
is that, especially for those of you that want to get into the Mail It Monday and have a community of people that are doing the same thing, it's a private group where it's like up. We're in a club now, and we get to just hang out together and share our cards and our inspiration. And again, going back to having that community to be your mental health support as well. That's the idea behind the Creativity Playground
Oh, this
Clubhouse.
is nice. So it's
Yeah,
another avenue for us to actually gather and meet each other and just chill. All right.
yeah,
So with common-minded people who likes card making or crafts or being creative. So
yeah.
is this
And oh,
already
one more.
it's a private group, right, Amy?
Yeah, yeah, private group. And one more thing about this
Mhm.
group is that I really created it a couple of years ago. I did a class about tell your um, COVID story. And
Mhm.
that class is still up in the Creativity Playground. So you can go through, there are some like handouts and videos, and it kind of just walks you through this little idea of telling your COVID-19 story. And I can show
Nice.
you. I
All
have the
right, go
little
ahead,
book. You
Amy.
want to see what
Okay,
we
we
made?
will. Okay, can we? Okay, are you gonna share it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
will. I will.
All right.
Okay. So I'll switch to my hand cam.
All right. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting.
Okay. Little impromptu
All
here.
right. Yes, we didn't like plan this, guys, but all right. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, guys. We will. Okay, it's my turn. All right. There you go.
Okay. So this
Oh, wow.
is, can you still hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. So this is the little Let's Stay Home, my COVID-19 story. And then it showed basically this was a photo of um, our last day at school where we were all
Oh.
in the cafeteria and they were telling us that we were going home.
Oh.
And then I have little um, flip flaps that show some pictures like cleaning out my classroom. I actually
Uh-huh.
have this one picture right here is um, I was teaching from home and our power went out. So I had to drive all the way to school so that I could use the Wi Fi from school to teach my
Wow.
classes.
That's dedication, Amy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. But yeah, so it was just the class was just a fun little way to share the pictures. Like I shared some of my favorite memes. So, of course, I had to have Star Trek in there. I
Obviously.
had to have the little meme about washing your hands to
Mm-hmm.
Lady Macbeth's out damn spot speech. So I got a little Shakespeare in there too.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of walking and a lot of the art that people were leaving on sidewalks. We did, celebrations like birthday parties
Uh-huh.
for my family. This was my little teaching command center.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was just, oh, and this is where I used to be a healthy eater. And then COVID happened, and I started comfort eating peanut butter. Just saying. One of these days, I'm determined to break that, but
I love
it
peanut butter
wasn't
too.
today. Yeah. So, yeah, so that was my little COVID
Oh,
19 story.
okay. So thank you so much for sharing that, Amy. Okay, so we can now have Amy back, okay, with us. Okay, on there you go. So see, that's
Hey, good.
one way, right? So as you said, your creativity transitions from, memory keeping to card making, but whatever it
Mhm.
is, you always try to, impact somebody and help somebody by sharing it. Like in this case, right? So this group, okay, that's coming up soon, Creativity Playground Clubhouse. So the best
Yeah.
way to know when it's up, guys, is to actually be part of Amy's community, and it's over there. All right. So on the ticker and also on the description of this video. So Amy is on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook as Creativity Playground. All the clickable links are also in the description down below. All right. So I'll see you
Thank
in the
you.
clubhouse pretty soon. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to the chat. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, where is it? Where did I stop? Okay. And Tina was saying, those films, rolls, and most of them come out overexposed. Exactly, because we don't really know, right? Is this enough light, right? Or so, because they come in rolls, right? But I
And
miss
here's
those
what I would
days.
also say to that, Tina,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else. If you have old photographs, and I think a lot of times we look at modern scrapbooking and we think, oh, these old photos, they're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So what? They still tell us stories. So scrapbook those old photos. It doesn't matter if they're terrible, even if they're your modern photos and
Mm-hmm.
they still, maybe it's a little blurry. It's okay. Still use it in your memory keeping because that's
Mm-hmm.
that's why we do it. Yeah, a lot of us share online and we're probably going to just share our best pages or best cards online, but it's still worthwhile to
Yeah.
use
So I
those
think,
old
Amy, that
old
is
photos.
one of the reasons why we need to be in a community. So that kind of mindset can go away, that in every creative avenue that we do, it has to be perfect, right? It
Yeah.
has to look like a certain way all the time. We have crafters in the community that we really look up to, right? And we
Mhm.
wish that our work would always be like that. But the fact is, and the truth is, we may not have the same outputs, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter or it's not beautiful or
Right.
it's not nice. And having a community to actually support you and telling you that it's fine actually really helps. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Amy, for reminding us that it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is not the goal in memory keeping or in trying to
Right.
help or give joy to somebody through our creative projects and even to
Yeah.
ourselves, right? So have a little bit of, more compassion. Be kinder to ourselves in
Yes.
2023, right, Amy? All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. And Mod and Use
Wholeheartedly.
Dockery is saying, hello, Miss Tina, and good morning. And Tina has another question. Did you get to keep those scrapbooking projects when you were younger?
Oh, yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I know.
Right? So just
In
like all
fact,
of us.
I just pulled out one. So, a couple of years ago, I gave
Mhm.
Storyworth to my mom for Christmas. And I don't know, do you know about Storyworth?
No, no. I'm sorry. Maybe
Oh,
for others know, but I don't.
okay. So it's an online company. And basically, what you do is you purchase this membership and they send whoever gets it. So in this case, I gave it to my mom and I asked her first because I'm like, Mom, I have a gift I want to give you, but it requires homework. Will you do it? And she's like, Of course, my teacher daughter gives me a gift with homework. But she did it. And so basically, what happens is that each week, Storyworth sent her a prompt, and I could go in and select the prompts that I wanted. Or if I forgot to, they would just randomly send her one. And then she could respond to those prompts. And when she submitted it, and she could add photos, writing, she would submit it, and then I would get notification that she had answered the prompt. So now what I'm doing is I'm going back through and like reading and doing any kind of basic editing. Once an English teacher, always an English teacher, I guess. So, but I also am adding photos. So I was talking to her the other day because I was like, Mom, you've had this for 2 years. Let's just, I know you wanted to tell more stories, but let's just get the books for our family, so that they can have the stories that you have told. And so what will happen is once I'm done editing, then I will go through and I will order books for each of the family members, that are
Oh,
basically
that's
my
so nice.
mom's stories.
Also, okay, so okay, I think we have something similar, but the the only difference is that in your case, the recipient, okay, somehow has a say in it because okay, they are able to actually share. So although we're going to be doing the more creative part of it, right? But then
Mhm.
they also have a contribution. And sometimes that's the thing, right? Um we take so much painstaking time and effort in creating something for handmade for friends and family,
Mhm.
and then oh, they thank you, but they don't really appreciate it because it's somehow one-sided, right? We don't really know if they'll like it or not, but in this case this is something very awesome. I think we should somehow revive this part, right? Maybe this
Well,
is so
and here's
nice.
yeah, here's what's so important is that, I'm 55 years old and my mom is in her 70s. And unfortunately, my uncle passed away this summer, her older brother. And so it just really reminded me that life is short and my mom is not always going to be with me. And so I want to take every single opportunity I can to hear her stories, to learn about her life, because I don't want any regrets. You know, my dad passed away in 99. Like, I don't have his stories. So, if we're able to, and even if you don't have family members that want to do this, because it is homework, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she had to write, she had to respond.
Uh-uh.
And she was very serious about it. Like, she went in and looked at records to make sure that
Oh,
she
that's
was
so
like getting
nice.
dates right. And I'm like, Mom, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Just tell your story, tell what you remember. I don't need it to be 100% factual. I just want it what your memory is.
Mm-mm.
um, but, you know, so even if you have a parent that doesn't want to go to that much trouble, interview them, like,
Mm-hmm.
record them, and then you'll be able to have those recordings, and you can go back and create a booklet or a photo album or a scrapbook.
Wow.
um,
Amy,
you
maybe
know,
this is one of the very first activities we can have in the clubhouse when it
yeah,
actually opens. I love it. I super
yeah.
duper love it. Especially like for me also, right? So I said the reason behind my scrapbooking in the olden days was I really want to document the lives of my kids so that eventually when they get married or they leave the house, I will give them it to them, and so that they will remember who they were. But now on the other side, on the flip side, I also want to do something that's about me, all right, or my
Mhm.
parents, or my loved ones. So it's a very nice idea. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing that with us. And going back to the chat, we have Anna. Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for
Hello.
dropping by. Yes, Anna is Fate 52. And hopefully we can have Anna at the beginning of the year, because it's very important that we start, for me anyways, with the word of God, right? So let's have Anna hopefully soon. Hi there, Anna. And of course, I'm glad we do crafty nights, Tina said. I collect the cards we make during crafty nights and pull up one or two when I needed to give it to friends, birthday, sympathy card, or get well soon card. This is so
Mhm.
very true. I often receive, like when Tina sends me something, always with a nice, handmade card. And during her birthday, I sent her a card, and that I forgot to actually put a dedication. She said, "No, I the card is more important to me than the gift." So she sent over the card and she said, "I want the dedication. Put it there." Right? So people actually do appreciate sometimes, right? The dedication itself. And the thing is, if you have a
Mhm.
ready card, so when it happens, you can easily pull out one, right? So that's a
Right.
great suggestion, Tina. Yes. You just don't know how your handmade cards gave a good cheer to others. Exactly, Doc Ree, right? So that's
Yeah,
what
that is
Amy
so
has been
true.
trying to do with the Mail It Monday. She will choose a friend or a family member to send a card to every week. Right? So something like maybe a card or two. Sometimes it's just more than one card. Sometimes it's several, right, Amy?
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, like, this past week, I didn't film it, but I did, I think in one day I sent 20, like, 20
Wow.
cards. Yeah, so here's another thing that you can do, to think about this. Like, I don't know if you have heard of, Craft Roulette on YouTube?
Oh yeah,
Uh
I heard it from you actually.
oh, did you?
Yes, yes.
Because I love it. But
Yes.
anyway, so it's, my friend Mary Gunn, who is also a former close to my heart consultant. That's how we met each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so she and her son run this, crafty game show where they spin a wheel and you get four parameters, and then everyone makes a card and submits it, and it's just great, great fun. But I, am a Patreon, because I love it so much. And part of being a Patreon is that we get to send each other cards. So I have this now list of people that I can send cards to.
Oh,
So
that's
I think
awesome.
sometimes, people will say, oh, but I don't have enough friends or family to send cards to. And like Lala was saying earlier, we can donate them. I would recommend giving them to people in like your local nursing homes, like actually writing some kind of greeting, even if you don't know the person individually, just getting some kind of motivational note from someone would just brighten their day, you know. Or you can have, if you have like a group of friends like Lala was talking about, sharing cards with each other, or something like this craft roulette community, which now I get to send them cards as well.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, guys, we should check out what do you call this, card roulette? Is it card roulette?
Craft craft
Crafty
roulette.
roulette.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Gun.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can send me, Amy, the link, I would share it to the
Oh,
community as well. All right, so
okay.
absolutely, when Amy, like when we had Amy the last time, she was going to be part of the card making summit, right? So
Mm-hmm.
several of us actually headed onto that, and it's just an
Yeah.
amazing event. Thank you so much for sharing that,
Yeah.
Amy. Right, so I know that when Amy shares something, it's really going to impact us in a great way. So there you go. And of
Good.
course, we have Wims in the chat. Hi, Wims. Hello, Tina and Dockery and the toilet roll. Oh, you remember
Oh,
this? Yes, you had a video up, right, about the toilet roll. Okay, there you go.
yeah.
And now peanut butter. Okay, the journal is so nice. Yes, those old
Oh,
negatives
thanks,
are still
Tina.
in our boxes. Vintage is in again, actually, right? Especially with mixed media. We do keep our
Hey,
negatives and
oh,
old pics.
may
Yes.
I ask a quick question?
Okay.
So I would love to know. So I'm starting some tutorials on using Canva for scrapbooking or memory keeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do this when I was a close to my heart consultant. My YouTube channel really started out with me doing tutorials about using close to my heart's Studio J, which was a digital memory keeping solution. Well, they don't have that anymore. So I use Canva all the time for work. So I'm like, why am I not using this for scrapbooking? It's amazing for scrapbooking. So I'm going to start doing tutorials. But one of the
Nice.
things, yeah, I'm really excited about it. One of the things that I was thinking about, I'll start off with general, like how to actually use it, how to use it for memory keeping. But then as I get more advanced, I want to do some like different types of scrapbooks. So, there's the vintage, clean and simple.
Oh,
Like
wow.
maybe you all could list the different styles, like either scrapbooking or crafting styles that you can think of, and that would be super helpful.
All right. So, guys, can
Yeah.
you put that right now in the chat? Or better yet, okay, head on to her Facebook group and then we can like comment. Amy, we saw you on Mommy Guide Inc. and we would want to, okay, have tutorials on, okay, and then specific kind of memory keeping, okay, book that
Yes.
we want. All right. I actually want all. I want to have all. I want to start from the basic. Like normally Canva for content creators, we use it for for thumbnails, for stuff like that, but not really for memory keeping, right? So
Right.
that would be awesome, Amy, if we can have like something like that. Oh, so many amazing things are coming up on Creativity Playground, right? So make sure that you are actually following, subscribe, okay, and like all of Amy's socials there on the crawling ticker and also on the description of this video. All right. And Ken is saying, Great point that creating should be fun. Trying to make it perfect can be very stressful. Indeed, Ken, and I know Ken is a very creative as well. Okay, his channel is actually the North. He talks about Christmas. Okay, so he's from
Yeah.
Christmas Clatters community. Todd, thank you
Yeah.
so much again,
Well,
Ken, for being here. And
and
Anna
and
saying,
Lala and Ken. Oh, I'm sorry.
okay,
But I was
love
just gonna say
everything. Yes, go ahead, go
about
ahead, Amy.
the Christmas clatter. I was talking, so after watching
Ah,
that
yeah.
episode, and I was telling my husband about it because, um, like, since I went through that depression, I have not really gotten back into like decorating for Christmas and all that. But after watching that episode, I was like, okay, now I know that starting in September, and Lala, tell me if this is true because this is what my hairdresser
Yes,
told me today. She said
yes.
that in the Philippines that you start like decorating in September.
Yes, well, we call it
Is
the
it
Burr months.
their month? That's what she
So,
was
because it's
saying.
December, right? So, and since we love Christmas so much, we find ways to make Christmas stretch, right? So we start in September, especially if you have smaller kids. They love, expectation for Christmas becomes even better. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Amy, for actually being there when we had Christmas clatter. And
yeah.
Anna saying, love everything I am learning from Amy. Okay,
Oh,
I
thanks,
have too many
Mama.
photos I need to work on. She is giving so many great ideas. Thank you, Anna. And so, therefore, actually, Anna is also a very creative person. Okay, and then
Yay.
Anna actually shares her creativity in sharing the Word of God to kids. And scrapbooking,
Oh,
memory keeping,
wonderful.
card making is definitely one way of trying or an avenue that we can share. Okay, the Word of God through creative measures, right?
Mhm.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
Well, and a
Master,
lot of people do Bible journaling. Anna, do you do Bible
exactly.
journaling?
Yes, we actually do Bible journaling or faith journaling once every month because I
Nice.
have a partner store where the content she wants for us to do for when it's her turn is faith journaling. So we actually do that once every month. So there, Master
Nice.
Red, ayan, Craft Roulette. Yes, guys, check it out. Okay, this is highly recommended by Amy, and I'm sure, I think several of us actually joined one time or the other after we had you. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Like the child house or people who are in the hospital, they would really appreciate the cards.
Oh,
Yes, Miss
yes.
Wims, we actually did that several times during the pandemic in coordination with My Little Attic, Nenet Samson Madera, and a card drive that my daughter, Super Floop, started during the pandemic as well and during the storms. I'm not a card maker, but this gives me motivation to do so. Thank you, Miss Wims. Yes, Miss Wims is first and
Yay.
foremost, she's really an artist. So she paints, okay, and she creates
Mm.
a lot of things. But lately, this year, Amy, she chanced upon our channel and now is has gotten hooked into crafting as well and card
Yay.
making. She doesn't have a lot of tools and stuff, but since she's an artist, she doesn't have an ephemera. We talk about flowers. She will draw a flower. She will paint a
Right.
flower. She creates whatever is needed, right? So she creates, air dried clay as an ephemera and stuff. So she's absolutely amazing. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
and
Miss
isn't that
Wims.
that's so incredible because so many of us wish that we had that kind of
Exactly.
talent, know, that that we could actually draw. Instead, we spend all this money buying stamps because we can't draw it ourselves.
Exactly. So that's why I told Wims, you are an inspiration to us. Because as Amy said, one of the reasons I think, I really want to draw. I really want to paint,
Yeah,
but for some reason I really can't. And so I am so happy that in crafting we have these tools, right? But if you can make it your own, you don't need to buy all this, expensive or spend extra for it. Okay. And
right.
super
And
floop.
Mommy Lala, I
Yes.
would say don't tell yourself that you can't. You absolutely
I don't know.
can. It's just a matter of time, right? We can
Thank you,
all learn
Amy. Okay,
anything,
thank you
right?
for reminding me that because I
Yeah,
promise I'm not gonna say that anymore. So thank
right.
you, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, so I see it's nice to have people who tell you, right? Accountability partners. That's one thing
yeah,
I really want to change, right? So that's why even in the show, if I have guests and I have no choice but to paint or to draw, I still do it. But to
yeah,
actually embrace it wholeheartedly, I'm a work in progress. So thanks, Amy, for
yeah.
reminding me. Not say not good, you're not good enough. Okay, it's a work in progress. Thank you so much,
Well, right.
Amy.
And that's what you were saying earlier about, that comparison is the thief of joy. And when we look at people like those paper crafters that make a living, like that's their job, and they're putting out so much content because they're making, when we're making one card, they're making like 100 cards. And so if we were making 100 cards, we would be really incredible as well. And so we just have to remind ourselves that it's not a competition. It's about enjoyment and love and giving, and, appreciating those people who are
Mhm.
very artistic or who have logged the hours to make
Exactly.
really
There you go.
incredible art.
Logged hours. Thank you so much, Amy. Again, right? So it's very important. That's why it's very important to be in a community, right? So before Amy, you would not even see me, okay, do anything artsy in any
Yeah.
way, form, or shape. I just love buying the stuff, but
Yes.
it stays there, right? So but now at least I am trying. So again, but I know it's normal, right? So it's like I think a normal default of ours to compare ourselves to other.
Yes.
But people like Amy, everybody in the chat, so we try to keep everybody motivated by saying that's fine, that's fine. So because sometimes we
Mhm.
really, if you're just alone, you will have that mindset that, oh, it's not as nice as this person, so I don't want to do this, I'm not good at this. So thank you, Amy, for reminding us that one, right? So if there's something that you forget about, so that's a basic important thing that we could take away from the show today. And they are talking about rabbit holes. Amy, I know you absolutely
Oh,
know
yeah.
about rabbit holes in crafting with a capital S. And there are mother of all rabbit holes, and then there are sub rabbit holes.
Okay, so
Yes.
explain for the people that don't know, what are rabbit
Okay.
holes?
Okay. So
No,
actually
you
rabbit holes,
explain.
okay. All right. So for crafters, it and even scrapbooking, card making, you can see at the background, right? So when you start, you basically actually the thing is you just need your creativity, inspiration, a piece of paper or something, anything actually, right? So but then when you start say, oh, there's a paper like this, oh, there's a stamp like that, oh, there's a cutter like this, oh, there's a puncher like that, oh, there's something like this and that. So it's you start trying to, I wish I had that, I wish you have this. So
Mm,
I know I've been there. I am, a work in progress. So I do understand. But again, it's a good thing because when Amy and I started, there was no YouTube like this. There was no, virtual thing that, we can like see. Because before it's like, oh, they recommend, maybe this is nice. Only to find out later on that that is not actually, that is not the way you like things done. Right? So,
mhm.
but if you are in a community, you keep watching, other creators, crafty creators, artsy creators, just like Amy, me, and all the other people in the chat, then you'll get to realize, yeah, it's nice, but I don't think that is for me. Right? So you keep getting to know what kind of crafty avenue you have. Okay? And so no judgment. No judgment if you
Yeah,
want to buy all those stuff. It's okay. Okay? But you don't need to. What we're saying is you don't need to. But if you want to, it's fine. Just,
yeah,
make sure that you don't go overboard. For most crafters, it happens. Right? So
yeah.
we have a community. So reach out. No worries. So that's
We'll
what
help
rabbit
you.
holes. You know how rabbit holes, right? You fall into it and you
Yeah.
can't get out of it. So basically, that's what we say, rabbit hole. So paper.
Yeah.
Oh, I love paper. So you fall into the paper rabbit hole. Oh, how about pens and markers? You fall into the rabbit hole. Stamps. You fall into so many sub rabbit holes, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Well, and that's what I always like recommend to people who are just starting out in paper crafting or any hobby. Don't feel like you have to buy it all because cute stuff is going to come out all the time. And if you're constantly buying, you're not going to be using it. And then you're going to get to the point where you're so frustrated with yourself. You're like, oh, I'll never use all this. So I'm just going to quit. No, just limit yourself to like when you are going to purchase something, say, okay, what are three projects that if I'm going to
That's
buy a stamp
nice.
set, what are three projects that I'm going to make with this? And then make those three projects before you buy something else. So you can feel like, okay, I've gotten my money's worth, even if I don't use this again. I've created with it at least three times. I know I like it. And so it keeps you from doing some really random impulse buying. Um, and so then you can like buy tools that are going to be really helpful to you. Like, I know a lot of people will say, oh, the Misty stamping tool, that's so expensive. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that is something worth investing in, even if it is expensive, because I literally use it every single time I stamp,
Mm-hmm.
every
So that's
single
a
time.
great thing of measuring, okay, the value of the things that we do, right? So even if
Mhm.
it's very cheap, but you've never used it, so that's gonna
Yeah,
be expensive, right? But
yeah.
if it's an expensive tool, but you've used it like 1,000 times, divide the amount into 1,000, so that's very cheap, right? So that's a
Yeah.
very good, like economics way of think looking at our craft stuff, right? So I think we should put that down, okay? When we look at a tool and we are like, oh, this is so nice. Think, how
Mhm.
many times will you be able to use that? Divide that into that. Is it worth it? Oh, that's great. Thank you, Amy. I super love that. Yes, actually,
This
Williams,
is
yes, Amy.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say this is why I was not a very good close to my heart consultant because I would always talk people out of buying stuff.
Right. So you always are tutors. Of course, in business, there's that part, right? Yeah, I do
Right.
understand. Yes. That's why now Amy, she creates cards, makes all of these things, but at least with no pressure of trying to, sell stuff, right?
Right.
Okay, and then Tina says you can also hear it in her squeals when in a craft shop. Absolutely. But I can honestly say I am really, from the old me to now, I can really actually say no, right? Because okay, take it from me, guys, okay? So first you have none. So you try to accumulate stuff. And then when you have this, it becomes too much. It's like, okay, which one do I use? There's so many options, option overload. And so in the end, you don't get to create anything. And then the next thing that comes in as a problem is, where do I store them? Where do I store them? You start buying organization materials. So another expense, right? And then after that, okay, so after all so where do you store all of these organizational materials that contain all your craft stuff? You have, you don't have an infinite space,
Right.
right? So, but your craft stuff keeps on growing, right? So that's
Yeah.
why, Amy, we actually have something this year and we called it Make a Wish, Grant a Wish. Okay, so it's on Mommy Guide Inc.'s Facebook page where we actually try to ask people to put their one craft item that they wish for. Just one. Okay, but you are not guaranteed that you will get it. But if somebody in the community wants to give your wish, then it will be, they can say, wish granted. So this is in a way helped us declutter, at the same time make somebody else's wish come true. Right? So let's start with something like this. Again, thank you to those who have given or granted the wish of some of the crafters in the community. Some are not really expensive, right? So, and some are actually very expensive. So I don't know if it can be granted, but then, just making a wish in itself is, something that, at least you put out there, right? And it gives you somehow a relief. So best thing again is, as Amy said, make sure you use what you're gonna buy. Right?
Mhm.
Ayan. Oh, you can say no na. Yes, of course. OMG, Tita Tina. What about FOMO? FOMO, like before, really, I cannot. Like, the minute I see it, I have to buy it. I'm on the phone. I'm gonna be on the car, going there. But now I can really, like, okay. So, like, this year, really, I have, there are a lot of things that came out this year and I don't have them. Unlike before,
Mhm.
anything that comes out, it's available in the Philippines, I will have it. It doesn't matter what it is, even though I don't need it, right? So again, this is me talking from experience. So I hope that for those who are starting, that you actually learn from my mistakes or from the people who came ahead of you, right? So from my
Mhm.
mistake, Amy's mistake, that in the end, having all these supplies will not make you a better crafter, right? So it's really not. But what Amy said, putting in the hours, right? So like
Mhm.
making more cards, making more, scrapbooks, creating more outputs, or being a maker. That is what's gonna make our work, if you really want to improve, better. Not the stuff that we buy, right? I have
Right.
abandoned FOMO after shopping with you guys. So I just have a budget every month. It's like diet. It's hard when you just say totally absolutely no. Okay, so what I do is I have a certain budget every month, right? And after that, sorry, that's it. Okay, so wait another month. If I don't have, so I still have this machine I really want. It's called the Brothers Scan and Cut. I know a lot of them have it. I don't have it, but I've seen the value by watching Tina One Kenobi's what do you call this, feature about it, and I know now that, oh my gosh, I can, this is very useful, but it's very expensive, right? So I'm saving up for it, and I've been saving up for it, little at a time. As a solo parent, it's hard, right? So we have other expenses that needs to, but it can happen. Just have to save up for it. See, teens, I can. There you go. All right, Amy. Okay, gosh, I'm so sorry, Amy. We've gone over an hour, but okay, so let's go to your. I know you have prepared something, an interactive card
Um,
for the new year
well,
for us. All
yeah,
right, so there you go.
ish.
Ish.
So
Okay,
I could
so
I could
everybody, it's okay.
definitely be I could be more prepared, but
Oh,
we'll
it's
we'll
okay, Amy.
give it a go. We'll give it a go.
All right, there
Okay,
you go.
here we go. Let's remove
Okay.
this. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yay.
we're good.
So what I have done, see, I colored a
Oh my
couple of
god,
these, and
so
this is an
cute.
example of what the Brothers Scan and Cut can do, because I had, let's see,
So right, so I said, okay, this is something that is really useful.
right? So these are stamps from Kindred Stamps. It's one of my favorite stamp companies. They have a lot of, um,
Kindred stamps.
yeah, Kindred Stamps. So they have a lot of like pop culture type stamps, like Star Wars. I have a lot of Star Wars stamps. But this one was really fun. This was one of their specials.
That's so
So
cute.
you'll notice, like, notice on the little mouse.
Mickey. Okay, a little mouse.
Okay. But notice his eyes. So on the stamp,
Oh
it
yeah.
was just dark, and I drew the circles to make his eyes look more like the character that we're used to.
Okay, yes, you're right.
Okay. So I was going to, part of that was this castle stamp, and I
Uh-huh.
was going to add a castle, but I was like, no, that's not going to work. So what I did was created this background for New Year's,
Mhm.
right? So we do fireworks. Do you do fireworks on New
Oh,
Year's?
we're so big with fireworks,
Oh, are you?
Yes. Fireworks and firecrackers.
Nice. Good. Well, I got this. I think I probably got this after I was on the show before, but this is a pop-up feature die from Dare to Be Artsy. And one of the cool
Nice.
things about this is that the die itself has these little dotted outlines,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates a score line. So that's great. But remember, if you are not, like, let's say that you don't have this die set,
Mm-hmm.
you could still just cut a square out of the middle of your cardstock
Mm-hmm.
and do score lines, and you can create the same thing. So just because I'm using a die doesn't mean you would have to, because you could just use your paper trimmer.
Mm.
But one of the reasons we use dies is because it makes our life a little bit easier. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I am going to, you can see that I am old school. I am still using my Cuttlebug,
Oh, no
even
worries.
though they,
Actually, the Cuttlebug is so very useful, especially for the 3D embossing folders. I find that it's the best to use.
yeah. Well, and I think about, like, I keep hoping it'll break, and it never breaks. I'm like, please break. I just want a new one, but alas, it refuses to break.
There you go. So just one pass.
Yep,
Double pass. One back and forth.
yep, yep. And so then what you end up with is score lines. So I can just fold my little score lines, and I would usually just use a bone folder. But
Mm-hmm.
then what we have, I'm just going to fold them back this way. So now once we have the card to pull up here, we would just boop, have our little
Oh,
card.
okay.
So it makes it interactive. And then
Mhm.
what I'll do is I'm going to adhere my little characters so that then when they go up, they're standing up.
Oh, that's so
Isn't that
nice.
cute? Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
I
so
don't know
proud.
if you want to take the time. Do you want me to take the time to actually put this whole thing
Oh,
together?
yeah, it's okay. Oh, okay. Do you have a finished one already
I
with this?
don't. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no.
That's why I was
Okay.
saying that.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay, Amy, because I know we've gone over the hour, and it's okay. We'll probably okay, head on to Amy's I mean, not website, but to her Facebook. Can you just probably just share the finished product for that one, Amy?
Yes. Well, what
Okay.
I'll do is I'll actually make a video and I'll put it on my
Okay.
YouTube channel. So,
All right.
so you all are my motivation to actually make this into a
Okay,
video.
yes, Amy, because we want to see the exciting, amazing output from what you've showed us. All right. So, again, what Amy showed us is an interactive card for the new year, okay? Using her stamps and an interactive die. But Amy said you don't need to. If you don't have that die, you can
Nope.
actually create that just by, creating a hole in the middle and just scoring on those lines and attaching. Okay, later, okay, we didn't really show you exactly how to attach it, but okay, Amy promised, and we will make
Yeah.
her accountable for that she will
Yes.
upload the complete how-to tutorial video for that
Yep.
amazing card on her YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribed to her YouTube channel after this, all right? Not just her YouTube, but her Facebook as well. And she's also on Instagram, right, Amy?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right. So
Yes.
last look at the chat. Okay. So KM, good yan. Yes, KM said what she does is this. So she has a bin of unused craft supplies, and she doesn't allow herself to buy new ones if it's halfway full. So I need to use them first before I get to buy new ones. So that's great one, right? Again,
That's
high
really smart.
emotional IQ is very much needed. So my daughter is saying that's a good system, Miss KM. I should apply that to my books. Yes, my daughter is. So it's like the way I'm addicted to craft stuff is her with
Yes.
books and her markers, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then we have Nathan. Cool. Thank you so much, Nathan Reda. And kaya di ako makapick up. Oh, there you go. Master Ed, thank you so much. Again, thank you, Amy. That looks nice. KM kayo pala. Yes, andun lang yung black bag mo. Sorry, Amy. I was just commenting on because KM won a prize in one of our crafty nights. And when we went to Lasting Impression, I checked because it's the end of the year, right? So who has not claimed their prizes? And then they said, KM. I said, why? So we messaged KM, and she's saying that the reason I'm not claiming it is because my bin is still half full. Oh, there. That is, what do you call
That's
this?
dedication.
Yes, that's dedication and discipline. Okay. But you need to
Yes.
use your MGI wins before the year ends. Yes, guys. So please request from our partner store so that we can start with a clean slate. Everything has to be used up at the end of the year, except for those who won in my Christmas raffle. Because for Kara Crafts, they will reopen in January. But otherwise, all that you've won in the past, please use them already. All right. So again, thank you so much, Amy. This has been such a wonderful time, and love the hair, new hair. Keep it up. And we're so looking forward to many amazing things happening in Creativity Playground. All right. So with that, thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Guys, Amy, I have a special episode tonight. At 8 p.m., I will have Prestige Paper, and we're going to have a paper sale. Paper sale, right? So
Ooh.
probably at the end of the year, almost, just not the pattern paper. These are the base papers, the really nice papers that you can use die cuts with, stamping with, whatever. So it's gonna be super paper sale tonight, 8 p.m. on Mommy Guide Inc. We are going to be joined by our favorite supplier of specialty paper, Prestige Paper Products. All right, so don't forget, 8 p.m. tonight. With that, Amy, everybody, bye! Thank you!
Bye.
Happy New Year! Advance, Amy!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining Amy and I this morning, and I hope that you had as much fun as we did. See you tonight, 8 p.m. for Prestige Paper Sale. Bye!